Namaste and welcome to Shom. Today we will discuss the latest geopolitical developments in the South Asia region. The first update is about the hidden dangers of Starlink in Bangladesh. As we know, Starlink has already been launched in Bangladesh. Starlink is the satellite-based internet service by Elon Musk's company SpaceX. With the arrival of Starlink, high-speed internet will now be available across Bangladesh, even in remote areas. On one hand, this will benefit sectors like education, healthcare, and commerce. But on the other hand, it also brings certain risks. By adopting Starlink, the government of Bangladesh has allowed a foreign-controlled satellite network to operate within its territory. This raises concerns about external surveillance and data privacy, which could prove harmful to Bangladesh's national sovereignty. It may also increase US influence in the country. Further, high-speed internet will now be accessible even in dense forests, hilly terrains, and the most remote areas. This could empower non-state actors and terrorist groups. Starlink has already proven its strategic utility during the Ukraine war. Now, it is expected to be used in Bangladesh's volatile regions such as the Sundarbans and Chattogram. Proxy forces, smugglers, and terror groups will be able to use Starlink for real-time communication and to coordinate their operations. They will also be able to bypass local internet restrictions and maintain communication lines. Starlink's portable dishes can easily be smuggled across borders, giving criminals access to real-time communication and intelligence. In remote areas, data and connectivity could become weapons in the hands of criminals. Thus, the arrival of Starlink in Bangladesh has increased the risk of satellite-driven information warfare. If it falls into the wrong hands, Starlink's presence could threaten Bangladesh's sovereignty and security. Moreover, Starlink would empower rebel groups like the Arakan Army, which opposes Myanmar's military junta backed by China. This could potentially turn Bangladesh into a battleground for a proxy war between the US and China. Next, let's talk about another important development. India is actively pushing for Pakistan to be reinstated on the FATF grey list. The Financial Action Task Force, established in 1989, is an intergovernmental organization that works to prevent money laundering and terrorist financing. Since Pakistan has not only failed to stop terror financing but has instead supported it, and given that Pakistan's own defense minister has openly admitted to supporting terrorism, it has become crucial to bring this terror-sponsoring country back onto the FATF grey list. In 2022, Pakistan was removed from the grey list, but even after that, it continued to misuse international aid and sponsor terrorism. That's why it is necessary to reinstate Pakistan on the FATF grey list and exert pressure on it to implement anti-terror laws and stop supporting terrorism. It is essential to keep strict oversight over Pakistan's financial systems to ensure that the country cannot divert funds towards terrorism. For that, reinstating Pakistan on the FATF grey list is vital. India has sent a delegation to provide comprehensive information about Operation Sindoor. This delegation is diplomatically engaging with multiple countries to gather support for reinstating Pakistan on the FATF grey list. India's diplomatic push is showing results. For instance, in the beginning, Colombia expressed condolences for the lives lost in Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. But when India explained the situation more clearly, sharing details about the victims in Pahalgam and its defensive strikes against terrorism, Colombia gained a better understanding of the situation. Subsequently, Colombia officially withdrew its earlier statement and expressed support for India's position. This is exactly how Pakistan needs to be exposed, by gathering support from as many countries as possible to ensure Pakistan is placed back on the FATF grey list. The next update is about the Brahmaputra River. After India suspended the Indus Water Treaty, China stepped in to support its all-weather friend Pakistan. China issued a statement saying that India should not do to others what it would not want done to itself. In a way, China indirectly threatened that it could manipulate the flow of the Brahmaputra River and threaten India's water security. China is already preparing to build the world's largest hydroelectric dam on the Brahmaputra River in Tibet. India is closely monitoring this project. There is no legally binding water sharing agreement between India and China, which allows China as the upper riparian state to take unilateral actions like these. India, on its part, is also taking countermeasures. For example, a lower Siang dam will be built in Arunachal Pradesh to help regulate the flow of the Brahmaputra and reduce the impact of China's upstream manipulation. China's threats will have no effect on the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty. It will remain suspended. As for Pakistan, which is now complaining about the suspension, it has itself been violating the Indus Water Treaty for years by supporting cross-border terrorism and thereby undermining the spirit of the treaty. Goodwill and cooperation should come from both sides. That is the foundational principle of the treaty. India cannot keep showing goodwill and cooperation while Pakistan continues to carry out terror attacks. That is no longer acceptable. Therefore, until Pakistan stops supporting terrorism, the Indus Water Treaty will remain suspended. As for China, India is not only taking countermeasures against the weaponization of water but is also engaging with China diplomatically to de-escalate tensions. Then, a major development is emerging from Pakistan. The Baloch Liberation Army has captured the city of Surab. Key government installations there, such as banks and police stations, are now under BLA control. Checkpoints have been established on the Quetta-Karachi and Surab-Gidar highways, where the BLA is monitoring all movement. As always, Pakistani authorities are living in denial. According to them, this was a terrorist attack carried out by Indian proxies. Whether they accept it or not, the Baloch Liberation Army is steadily advancing toward its goal of securing independence for Balochistan. No matter how much the Pakistani government and military try to hide the truth or spread lies, the fact that the BLA is able to carry out large-scale operations like the hijacking of the Jafar Express and the capture of Surab city clearly exposes Pakistan's vulnerabilities. Pakistan's control over the region is steadily weakening. The state is proving incapable of stopping the Baloch freedom fighters, and China is reportedly growing increasingly frustrated with the situation. Reports suggest that China now wants to bypass Pakistan and initiate direct talks with Baloch groups in an effort to secure its investments in the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. But no matter how hard China tries, the people of Balochistan are now rising up against human rights abuses and exploitation. They are determined not to let CPEC proceed. India's National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, has warned Pakistan years ago, if you do another Mumbai, you will lose Balochistan. Pakistan made the mistake of not taking his warning seriously, continued its terrorist attacks on India, and now Doval sir's words seem to be coming true. Next, let's talk about a development in Bangladesh. The Supreme Court of Bangladesh has restored the registration of the country's largest Islamist party, Jamaat-e-islami. During Sheikh Hasina's tenure in 2013, the court had declared the party's registration illegal. However, after Sheikh Hasina's fall, the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus is supporting radical elements in Bangladesh. This interim government lifted the ban on Jamaat-e-islami, and now the Supreme Court of Bangladesh has also reinstated the party's registration. Now, when Muhammad Yunus decides to hold the next elections in Bangladesh, Jamaat-e-islami will also be able to participate. This party is aligned with Pakistan and had opposed Bangladesh's independence from Pakistan in 1971. The revival of support for a party with such an ideology is a concerning development from the perspective of India's security and stability in the northeast region. Clearly, there is a resurgence of Islamist forces in Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina's party, the Awami League, is being systematically cracked down upon. The party has been banned, and Sheikh Hasina has been charged with crimes against humanity. She has been portrayed as the mastermind behind the casualties during the 2024 protests. Arrest warrants have been issued against her, and the Yunus administration is urging India to extradite her. However, since Sheikh Hasina has been a long-term ally of India and has not acted against Indian interests, India has chosen to ignore Yunus's extradition request. Next, there is an important update regarding Operation Sindoor. India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, confirmed in an interview with Bloomberg that India did suffer some initial losses. Due to certain tactical errors, we had to endure some initial setbacks to our air assets. However, India identified and corrected those tactical mistakes and subsequently carried out precision strikes on Pakistani air bases to successfully achieve its objectives. General Chauhan did not reveal how many fighter jets were lost or which specific aircraft went down. According to him, India's focus was on understanding the cause of the losses rather than the extent of them. So, more important than the number of losses is understanding why the losses occurred. In the same interview, General Chauhan completely rejected Pakistan's false claim of having downed 6 Indian fighter jets. He also reiterated that the weapons supplied by China to Pakistan proved to be completely ineffective. In an attempt to cover up its defeat, Pakistan continues to rely on disinformation. Despite suffering heavy losses, the Pakistani government and military are shamelessly claiming victory. India, on its part, is making every possible effort to counter Pakistan's information warfare. The last update from the South Asia region today is about the AMCA fighter jet. AMCA stands for Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. It will be India's 5th generation fighter jet and will be indigenously developed for both the Indian Air Force and the Indian Navy. Under the Defence Research and Development Organization, DRDO, the Aeronautical Development Agency will develop it in collaboration with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. With the development of AMCA, India will significantly boost its indigenous defense capabilities and join the ranks of countries like the US, Russia, and China that possess their own 5th generation fighter jet technology. AMCA will be a single-seat, twin-engine, 5th generation stealth fighter jet that will replace India's aging fleet and greatly enhance its air combat strength. However, it will take approximately 10 more years to reach the stage of mass production. Today, being self-reliant in defense manufacturing is extremely important. AMCA is a significant step in the direction of Atmanirbhar Bharat, which will reduce our dependence on foreign suppliers.